Industrial robot adoption is accelerating, and China now dominates the market, taking 54% of the 542,000 units demanded globally. To discuss this today, we are joined by David Zhu from Roland Berger and Marcelo Tagliatelle from Rockwell Automation. Gentlemen, welcome to the discussion. David, if I could ask you first, what factors explain China's huge share of global industrial robot demand?
We think there are five major factors drive the huge share of the demand for China. And the first one, we will say that is the massive manufacturing scale and the strong demand for automation. And number two, that is actually we see the rising labor cost, forcing the shift from human workers to robots. And number three, that is the industrial upgrading and the national smart manufacturing strategy, which established in past 10 years for China. And number four is the relatively low robot density. Still, actually, China has a little lower density comparing to Germany, comparing to Japan. And the last one is the rise of the domestic brands, which is accelerating the import substitution. We still see a little gap comparing to those advanced countries. So China government will continuously actually push, use this density data as a critical KPI to push overall the whole automation, actually also the robot move up. Last one, the rise of the domestic brand. Industrial robot and also actually like a humanoid robot become quite actually the strong and important industry sectors for China. So China government also view this as in next 5 years, next 10 years as a very important supporting pillar for a whole country economy.
It's really the adoption of robots. It's beyond the typical managing rising costs, but it's really looking around workforce shortage. So there's a really increasing demand in robotics and automation as there's less people available to work on the manufacturing space. When you look in our 10th annual State of Smart Manufacturing, you really see that 95% of the manufacturers, the companies globally, especially here in Asia, are really investing in adopting those technologies, robotics, AI, and automation, and really to increase productivity, but really to help to close the skills gap that we have around the globe. So that's something that we see very clear around Asia Pacific overall. It's not different in China. So the really driver behind this demand is the conversion of the workforce and how the workforce is changing through the digital tools and how the manufacturers need to be competitive in a world that's changing in terms of demand and the requirements globally.
How are manufacturers reskilling workers to match high automation levels?
It is a continuous process, to be honest with you, right? And the focus that we see, how can we help workers to collaborate with those smart machines, with data, with AI, and how that's changing every day's job. So when it's in the research I mentioned before, it's really that almost half of the manufacturers are implementing and using those technologies to really help the workers today and how the work is changing for more engaging and creative and higher value tasks instead of what they used to do before. So it's not about replacing, but it's really upskilling those. We have a very good example in our manufacturing plants here in Singapore by adopting some of the AI technologies and robots in our plant. We increase our productivity of our workers in over 25%. So that's something we could really measure and see in our own manufacturing facility we have here.
We have to see how to clarify their training objectives to link with their company's, strategic plan, strategic objectives. Linking with overall the strategizing the KPI and year by year, the target, we will have a very clear, shifting from the operating machine to mastering the intelligence system. This kind of actually like a strategy for their traditional workers. And number two step shall be also to use the scenario-based training method to replace the traditional classroom training. So which will help build a training in practice, realistic training system. For that, we have a very simple like practice we call as a 3F. Forum, field, and feedback. Forum normally will only contain about 20% of the total training time. Field will be like 70% with all the just hands-on practice. And the last one, the feedback will also be important to continuously push the trainers and also trainees to focus on the right things and do it right. We also would like to recommend our manufacturing companies to set up a tiered and categorize the training pathways for precision empowerment. Means actually it's not only the workers on the front line, but also the whole organization.
What manufacturing roles are being automated first, and which roles remain harder to replace?
Highly density labor workers just doing all the manual work. Those assembly line operators will easily be replaced by the robots. And also for like the material handlers, which also could be actually easily like replaced by AGV, by those actually like a moving autonomous actually moving robots. Some actually the jobs we think actually they're still a little hard to be replaced, or just say those actually jobs possibly will be upgraded in the future, right? So the operators or just engineers will still actually like to perform the higher end content, right? After the upgrade, the job for the automation or system engineers. So they would like to upgrade their know-how, their expertise. So in the future, so they will still perform very critical role in the factory inside the company to maintain, to continuously actually like to repair, to optimize all those industrial robots. And also for the operators, if we see in some very advanced industry, in some also advanced companies, there is already such kind of the like the position which we call as a human robot collaboration, which is the cobot operators. So in that position, those operators, they are not the traditional like manual workers.
It's a good point. What we're seeing, the first roles being automated has been tasks that are dangerous to human beings, in the manufacturing space. A lot of those activities, a lot of the very repetitive, physically demanding, some things that are high precision that a human eye, despite of the great experience, cannot get to the level we need for the quality of the products we need. So really see a lot of those actions, a lot of things related to material handling, basic assembling, inspections, a lot of plans, you see people looking and check if things are good. Those things are being replacing for robotics, AI systems who can have a better and more consistent work and quality of the jobs being done. Now, the jobs that really involve more complex decision making, troubleshooting, a lot of that experience, that deep process knowledge that really are relying on heavily and that human expertise, those are still kept with humans, with people to be doing. Now, the technology is supporting them to do that job better, because it's very hard to replace and replicate that experience, but technology is becoming a support to those, but not a replacing to those.
Well, gentlemen, thanks to both of you for your time today, David and Marcelo.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
No, thank for all the audience for having me and listening to us in the show.
Once again, our guests were David Yu, partner at Roland Berger Enterprise Management Shanghai, and Marcelo Tarkiltor, regional director for Southeast Asia at Rockwell Automation. For more news, please visit manufacturing.asia.